guys. Welcome to the Pole Rehab Podcast. Feel free to like, subscribe, or comment if you want to keep seeing our videos. We're here to talk about injury prevention, strength training, and recovery for pole dancers. I'm Michelle from Flow Motion Studio, and you can find me on TikTok or Instagram at Shell's Flow Motion. And
I'm Goddess. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram at _by.goddess. And we wanted this first episode to be about our experiences with injuries through pole. We're going to introduce ourselves as well. And we want to talk about why creating this podcast was so important. So our goal is pretty simple. We just want to help dancers sustain longevity in their pole careers with as little pain as possible.
hopefully no pain, just soreness. But yeah, so first we're going to talk about how we got into pole dancing. I started pole dancing in 2020. I'm self-taught. I did a little bit of the Fit to Flaunt app, but mainly taught myself at home through videos online. And
I have actually been dancing for a long time, and I took a few classes a while ago, and then during the pandemic, I was like sitting at home, scrolling through videos and getting very jealous. So I was like, no, I think I want to hop into it. So after the world opened back up, I started taking classes immediately. I've been pole dancing for, I say 5 years because like the world opened up in like 2021. But I didn't get injured until 2 summers ago. So my injury consisted of 2 shoulder tears, 2 rotator cuff tears, and I also have arthritis in my right shoulder. And that came from trying to do a move that I have never done before without a proper spot. I did have a crash mat, but I fell directly on my shoulder. And yeah, it took me a while to get back in the game.
yeah, and I got hurt in October 2024, and I got hurt at work. It wasn't from pole, but it was like a longer term injury. I got diagnosed with thoracic outlet syndrome in like March of 2025, and that's like a 2-year healing process. So I've been healing for like a year from that, but I felt like I had other things going on. So I finally got an MRI this last month, and I ended up having my suprastranatus and infrastranatus tendons had tendinosis on the top, and my AC joint was like slightly degenerated. Is that the right word? Slightly broken down or something, like arthritis-y. And then my lat was strained, and I had bursitis in my deltoids. So a lot going on. And with that, when I was trying to figure out what was happening, I was just kind of talking to a lot of other dancers about their injuries, just trying to piece the puzzles together. And that was kind of how me and Goddess met, was through Instagram and TikTok. And we started chatting. And then with that, we realized with our background, because at this point, I started teaching yoga classes specific for pole dancers, and Goddess was healed for the most, we're pretty much healed, yeah, for the most part. And back to teaching and teaching girls how to stay injury free. We realized we had pretty similar motives. So that's why we started teaming up. And here we are. So
I'm also a massage therapist, so healing is very, very important for me.
Yeah, she's got all the credentials. I'm working on my personal training cert, but it is not done. So I'm always asking questions. But from here, we wanted to go over just a couple tips for you guys, just to go over before we ended the first episode. So with that, Goddess was going to start talking about cross training with you guys.
Yes. So a lot of times with pole, I think we get super excited and we're just like, yeah, I want to load up my schedule with all the pole classes possible. Any class I can take, I'm going. And while that is going to be beneficial to your training, it's also going to be beneficial to add in other modalities that are going to challenge those muscles, because if you're only working the muscles in the tricks that you're working on, then you're not actually strengthening that area to be able to support you every single time. And you're just kind of crossing your fingers, hoping to God that it works out. So we want to eliminate that, and we want to be very intentional about the muscles that we're using, where we're pulling, where we're pushing, and what we're actually doing every time we do a trick so that we can make it pretty much the same every single time and we can reduce the risk of injury. So it's very important to add in things like yoga, going to the gym. If you're not a gym girly, that's okay. Or a gym guy, that's okay. You can do Pilates. There's other things that you can do, but you want to make sure that pole is not the only thing that you're using to strengthen your muscles.
Definitely. And with that, I kind of wanted to build off of that with one of the tools that I started using in my physical therapy sessions. And it's called a body blade. And a body blade, it's essentially a really long blade that you hold in the middle and you basically wiggle it back and forth. It helps with stabilizing through your shoulder in a few different areas, stabilizes down the arm. And it's really easy. If you don't have a physical therapist, you can either ask one if you know of any, or you can even just look it up on YouTube, the best ways to use a body blade correctly. I use it 3 different ways. It's kind of foolproof on using, so it's as long as you look up how to use it properly. I think it's a really great tool to just be able to stabilize. So if you're not into lifting, but your shoulders don't feel super stable, they feel like they're often sore for like more than 3 or 4 days, which is never what you want. That means you've overworked a little. The body blade can help just add a little extra strength, a little extra stability around the shoulders. You have another one for us?
Yeah. We want to also implement heat and ice. So I think sometimes we only bring that into play when we're actually feeling pain. I know I learned like ice on bones, heat on muscle, but you want to warm the muscles up as much as possible. So that's why we do a warm up, so we can warm ourselves up from the inside out. So if you can add heat to your body maybe before your practice, and then afterwards, once you're all loosey goosey, so that you don't feel that soreness as much, ice, so that you can kind of stop all that pain from actually feeling the pain. The soreness is gonna be there, but it will help with the swelling and feeling the actual soreness.
Mm-hmm. So basically, we just wanted to recap with our main takeaways. Our goal is really trying to reduce the injury rates in pole dancers and aerial artists. I know for pole dancing, it's about 86% of girls end up getting injured at some point in their journey. So I just think that that number is too high, and it's definitely due to us all learning together. And I don't think that all the information is all that easily accessible. So that's what we're doing here is just taking a little bit of time to go over different pieces of injury prevention, different injuries that we're seeing is more common within the girlies, and just trying to help everybody out with knowing the information. So definitely come back, subscribe, like, comment if you haven't already, and come back for our next episode. Our next episode is going to go further into shoulder injuries. So we're going to break down kind of how the rotator cuff works, what are the main muscles of the rotator cuff, because a lot of people don't really know what the different muscles entail, what all the rotator cuff is, and kind of break down most of the things that we're seeing other ladies having to deal with. So definitely come back. Thank you so much for listening. And again, if you're wanting to work with us online, feel free to check out our websites, Flow Motion Studio and by Goddess. And
Thank you guys.
Have a good one.